With the aid of the sheet parameters, we can design the page as we wish it to be, and there are no less than 8 parameters that we can adjust. The first one, width, is about the width of the page. We can choose for fixed, then the page has a fixed width and it will look the same on every browser screen. Or we can choose fluid, and then the width of the page is a percentage of the browser screen. Say we choose 70%, then the page has a width of 70% of the browser window. And this implies that fluid designs look different on different monitors, and that's a disadvantage. So I choose for a fixed width of 900 pixels. When we want to configure the width more accurately, we can choose more sheet width, and we can here adjust the width. The second option, margin, lets us adjust the distance to the top. And this is a little confusing because in the case that header and menu are not in the page, as here, margin is the distance between page and header menu. And when header and menu are in the page, margin is the distance between the top of the site and the browser screen. And we can place header and menu in the page by choosing the fixed option in the layout tab. Okay, I'll take this one, and now back to margin, and when I now adjust the margin, it's between the top of header and menu and the browser screen. With padding, we can adjust the white space between content and the edge of the page. With radius, we can increase or decrease the roundness of the corners. When header and menu are not in the page, the corners from both header and menus as well as the page will become rounder, and we go first outside, this one. Okay, back to sheet, radius, and when I now increase the radius, it's the corners from header and page become more rounder. With the next option, fill, we determine the background color of the page. And the level of transparency can be set in the transparency dialog. 100%, then there is no transparency, and here we have a lot of transparency, so the red color of the page shines through. I'll set this on no transparency. Border lets us place a border around the page, and we can choose for different borders. We can set the color of the borders, for instance It's a little hard to see in this example. And we can click on more borders and more configure options will appear. The last option, shadow, lets us add a shadow along the edges of the page. We can create a shadow all around the page, but popular is also a shadow on the left and right side. And with shadow options we can construct this shadow. First I'll go to the layout tab and set it on fixed. Okay, and margin so, and backgrounds no glare, and okay, so, and now we go back to sheet, shadow options, and put blur on 25, transparency on, okay, this one, distance 15, and angle on 270. And now I have a nice shadow along the edges of the page.